Good evening and welcome to Marquee Sports Network, where your Hersey Huskies are about to take on the Barrington Broncos. We're going to take you down to courtside in a second, but briefly, a quick little background on how we got here today. Over the summer, I submitted an application so we can be a part of the Marquee Sports Network Community Showcase Series. A couple months later, I heard back, and here we are today. The Hersey Dispatch is Hersey's multimedia program. We host over 30-plus live streams each year, including football. All right, let's now focus on the game tonight. Your Hersey Huskies, 2-5 in their last 7. The Barrington Broncos also struggling in the MSL West. An important matchup to watch tonight is between Oliver Gray and Charlie Pomas. I know you talked to both coaches before the game. Caden, anything you have to say about this matchup?
100%, Ryan. I mean, you are spot on with that prediction. Charlie Pomas, Oliver Gray, these are the two titans. This is MJ versus Kobe. This is what you're going to watch for today. Oliver Gray, dominant force. He just broke the three-point record for Barrington. He's one of their leading scorers. He broke the 1,000-point mark last year. Last year's MSL MVP, or MVP of the MSL West as well. He's just an absolute machine. Hersey's going to have their hands full with them. But for Charlie Pomas, Quentin Bursch, the man to the left of me, you got some info on him?
Yeah, Charlie Pomas breaking the 1,000-point record just in his last game. Coming here tonight, he's averaging 17 points per game. He also leads the team in blocks, averaging 0.5 per game. But it is not just Charlie Pomas that you're looking forward to on this Hersey roster. You have Logan Luxem, his right-hand man. Logan Luxem averaging 6 points per game and 1.6 steals per game. So I would say Hersey has a lot more depth in their team, but will Barrington and Oliver Gray be able to hold up against the Hersey Huskies?
All right, we're going to take you down to the court. We're about to get underway in a couple seconds. Once again, my name is Ryan Antonucci, joined by Caden Tricosi and Quentin Bursch.
That was low-key fire.
All right, about to get underway in a couple seconds here. The starting lineups getting announced for each side. For the Huskies, Logan Luxem, Charlie Pomas, Kyle Irwin, Jake Narot, and Tristan Trotter. Starting lineup, you know, we've seen Ethan Grease and Tristan Trotter kind of rotate in this lineup this year. Anything on that, Caden?
100%. Ethan Grease coming into this season. He didn't even make the basketball team his sophomore year. He's such a comeback story, amazing story. He entered this season, didn't really think he was going to get that much playing time. Now he's been dominating. He is going to be the sixth man coming off the bench for Hersey, but he reigns from downtown. He's a big man. He's absolutely electric, fun player to watch.
This Barrington Broncos team starting Jackson Roberts, Luke Laughlin, Oliver Gray, Robbie Schomacher, and Evan Shetman. Exciting matchup about to get underway here, about to get underway with the tip. The Huskies took the first one in the series back on January 8th. They won 58-51. The tip is going to go the Broncos' way, and we're underway in this one, and a quick whistle. And I believe we're going to be doing this over again on a quick, not sure what happened right there.
Yeah, and already you see Bob Wodlowski come out on the court. He is the winningest coach in MSL history, your Hersey head coach in his second season, and he likes to be animated. He likes to talk to the rest. He likes to get in their face, and he likes to get loud.
Another delay. So we're going to spotlight this tip here, Charlie Pomas and Oliver Gray. Charlie Pomas, number 3, Oliver Gray, number 10. Those are the two players we told you to watch before the game. First little matchup right here on the tip. First one went Gray's way. See what's going to happen this time. And this time the Huskies win the tip. Falls into the hands of Kyle Irwin. And now we're underway in this matchup. Logan Luxem up top, moves it outside to Charlie Pomas. Pomas around the key over to Narot. Narot to Trotter. Side now is Luxem. He drives the paint, moves it over to Irwin for the 2, and he lays it in.
Kyle Irwin, not the biggest scorer on the team. He doesn't average that many. I believe he averages under 5. He is such a playmaker. It's very interesting they're getting the ball to him underneath early on.
Yeah, Kyle Irwin averaging 3.5 points per game, as you said, under 5.
Gray now outside to a Barrington player. Over up top for a 3 is Schomacher, and it rims out, rebounded by Pomas, but off his fingertips. It's going to stay with the Broncos.
And don't only watch Thomas and Gray, the two star-studded athletes. Watch Logan Luxem on Luke Laughlin. Two double L names. Luke Laughlin, 5'7", posting up against Luxem, who was a leading scorer in the last matchup between the Broncos and the Huskies. He had 18.
Gray on the outside, inside to Roberts. Now out now for three is Shetman, and he nails it. So a 3-2 lead for the Broncos. Both sides having one possession. Now Luxem coming down the court for the Huskies. Driving the paint, tries to lay in a quick two, and it rims out. Rebounded by the Broncos.
And there you're going to see Luxem try to take advantage of that matchup against a much smaller Laughlin. Unable to on that one. Oh, and a little dinky move.
Yeah, they're going to call a travel right there. I believe that was on Evan Shetman. A little bit of a misstep there as he tried to move the ball inside to Luke Laughlin. So a turnover right there by the Broncos after the missed layup by the Huskies. And we're back now the other way. Irwin up top to Trotter. Luxem inside to Narot. Jake Narot lays in a two-pointer. And Jake Narot, a very strong athlete here at Hersey High School. Football quarterback for the Huskies. Numerous Division I offers for football, but also plays lights out as a basketball player.
100%. You think of a stereotypical jock in high school, this man does it all. Absolute beast at every sport he tries.
Oliver Gray moving inside. A pass goes awry, but they're going to call a foul. I believe that foul is going to be on Logan Luxem.
And although that foul was on the floor, Oliver Gray's not a man you want to send to the line. Believe he went 13 for 13 against Prospect to accompany 33 points, I believe?
Yeah, 33 points, 13 for 13. An incredible showcase right there against the Prospect Knights. Inside pass to Roberts. Outside now for Schillmacher. It's off the rim. Going to be rebounded and blocked by Charlie Palmas. Fast breakdown for the Huskies over to Irwin. He puts up a two, no foul, and it falls. Huskies up 6-3.
We talked to Coach Brian Tucker before this game. He said the major adjustment from the early Husky matchup was going to be defense. Barrington needed to play better defense. That's what we preached all week.
There's Oliver Gray. His first shot goes off the front rim. A three-point shot rebounded by Luxem. Luxem now Trotter trying to get his first points. Another miss. Trying to be rebounded, and the Broncos rebound the ball, but they're going to step out of bounds. That was Jackson Roberts on the baseline. Jake Narwat also there for that rebound, couldn't quite get it.
And so far, we've seen some fast-paced action. This is not typical MSL basketball where it's slow, pass around the perimeter. We've had some lights, straight lights action.
Trotter for three, and it's off the rim. Going to be rebounded by the Broncos. Quick down the court is Laughlin. Laughlin driving the paint. Never mind, he's going to set it up, and it's off the fingertips. A little bit of miscommunication there between Oliver Gray and Robbie Schomacher. Yeah, this Husky team, as I mentioned in the intro, 2-5 in their last 7. They were off to a hot start, 14-1, now 16-6.
100%. And this is a juxtaposition between these two programs. Hersey's had one of their hottest starts in years. Barrington, one of their weakest. Brian Tucker has had a winning season every year since 2013. The Broncos are 9-12. They're shaping up to having their first losing one in 13 years. On the other hand, Whitlowski turned this Husky program around. They're poised for a deep run in the state playoffs.
Yeah, Brian Tucker, 17 years with this program. Last year they finished 19-8, but they were eliminated in the state playoffs by the Hersey Huskies, so a little bit of bad blood between these two teams. Trotter up top to Irwin, back now to Trotter. Huskies taking a little bit more time with this possession, we've seen earlier. Pass out to Narwat. He's going to pop a three, and it's just off the rim, but he gets his own rebound and lays it in for the two.
Jake Narot averaging 11.7 points per game, which is very good, especially for a junior, as you said, who is playing both football and basketball.
He's going to be the go-to guy next year. I mean, all that size, still another year of eligibility.
6'5", tallest on the team. Only taller person on the court is Gray at 6'6".
And speaking of Gray, he lays in a powerful two, knocking over Kyle Irwin.
And now just to set the setting of this game a little more, you mentioned some bad blood between teams as...
Yeah, the ball almost went out of bounds there, but the Huskies regained possession, now trying to set up.
But there's also bad blood between coaches.
There's going to be a foul on that one. I believe that's going to be on Oliver Gray.
As I was saying, Bob Wodlowski, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead, sorry.
Bob Wodlowski, 33 years with Frem. This is his second with Hersey. He's in the top 200 winningest coaches in IHSA history, the winningest coach in MSL history. So him and Brian Tucker They know each other a lot. They've played countless games against
Luxem for three. Another three-pointer right there for Logan Luxem. He's had a tremendous season from beyond the arc. Outside now, number 21, DJ Young. Is going to move it over to Jackson Roberts. Over now to Gray. Gray cutting the inside, going to pull up for a shot, and it's going to fall a couple times off the rim there. Gray's shot will go in. Gray getting numerous offers from Division I schools, including Cleveland State, as Luxem goes for another three.
Luxem making his 38th three of the season right there. Now passing Charlie Pomis, being the three-point leader on the team. Can Logan Luxem keep it up going in to end this game?
Not only a three-point leader, three-point percentage leader. I believe he's shooting 32, probably higher from beyond the arc. That's pretty impeccable at a high school level.
For over 20 shots, he does lead. Under
Wow.
20 shots, you know, it's a little bit easier to rack up your percentage.
Gray driving the paint. He's going to lay in a layup. And so 14-9, the Huskies with a 5-point lead as we turn down the clock now in this first quarter. Narot up top, he wants to take the one-on-one. Pass goes off the hand of Jackson Roberts, and it's going to stay with the Huskies.
And aren't we lucky? We've seen some fast-paced basketball. We've seen coast-to-coast transition fast breaks, only one foul per team, a lot of buckets on the board. And this is an exciting game, shaping up to be a very exciting game for our large viewership today.
Yeah, it's been a much different game than we saw last time. Huskies versus the Knights of Prospect, our rivals, as a three-pointer from Greece is going to go off the mark, rebounded down low by Gray. So a couple new players coming in today. Is almost a steal right there by Charlie Pomis. The handoff from Gray to Darsh Puvana. Kind of went awry there. Darsh Puvana hit a three-point buzzer beater to Prairie Ridge. It was in their last matchup. It's a 57-56 win for the Barrington Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos on a two-game winning streak as
Roberts is going to drive, and it's not going to fall. Rebound once again by Jake Narod.
Yeah, Broncos on a two-game winning streak. It's also opposite. I mean, Hersey's been on a little...
Pomis for three, and it's just off the rim, rebounded by Grease. Outside now to Narod. Long pass over to Luxem. Grease once again from three. This time it barely rims out. It's a couple that we've seen for both sides just rim out.
Grease shooting efficiently, 30% from the three-point line.
He's electric. He's so fun to watch. I mean, he's one of the biggest effort players along with Kyle Irwin on the court that you're going to see tonight.
Pomis, deep pass to Leva. Way up top now to Grease. Now Pomis for three. And it's going to be off the rim, but a rebound right there by Narot, using his body and getting through, cutting through the clutter and getting that ball. Luxem up top, the outside, that's Leva. Low to Pomis, up to Leva once again. Grease at the key. Good over outside once again to Grease. Huskies taking it slow once again. You know, they kind of speed it up, slow it down, speed it up, slow it down. Leva Jr. over now to Luxem. Luxem inside to Grease, who's going to finish for the two-pointer, so the lengthy possession pays off.
Wow, that was a long possession, but there were key rebounds there. And Wadlowski, before the game, he talked about rebounds. He mentioned their recent loss to number 5 Naquan Valley, a very, very efficient team. And he said it just came down to a couple rebounds. Well, they got a big rebound there.
Schumacher drives inside, and it's going to be blocked by Narot. You know, we've seen a couple blocks from Narot throughout this season. Excellent player inside right there. And I want to highlight size. You know, we were watching this warm-up earlier. I know, Caden, you mentioned it to me. This Broncos team is pretty small.
Oh, yeah, they are extremely small. Q-Tip mentioned earlier, Oliver Gray, tallest player on the court for them. He's 6'6". Other than that, you see Darsh Puvana, you see Luke Laughlin.
No foul called there as a two-pointer rolls out. That was Leva who got dropped down to the floor.
And the Huskies in general just have more size, and with size comes physicality, so we'll see how that plays out down the stretch.
15 seconds left in this first quarter. 16-9, your Huskies in the lead. Trying to hold for final shot here. Leva screen there by Trotter. Outside now to Grease. It's going to be a last-second shot thrown up by Will Bake, and it's not going to fall. So 16-9, your score. The Huskies up by 7 as we go into the second quarter. All right, so what did we see from that first quarter, Caden?
We saw some electric firework plays. I mean, I'm loving it.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back to start our second quarter. All right, welcome back to the Ken Carter Gymnasium between a matchup between your Hersey Huskies and the Barrington Broncos. The Huskies off to a hot start, up 7, scores 16-9. I'm Ryan Antonucci, once again joined by Caden Tricosi and Quinton Bursch. For those of you who may have missed the first half, what did we see?
Oh, we saw some fireworks from both sides, especially the Huskies. We know them as a great second-half team. They've rallied against countless MSL rivals, and they really fire up in that second half. But to start off, put 16 points up in the first quarter, that's pretty impressive. I know Bob Wadlowski's very happy with his Husky squad.
Yeah, Logan Luxem draining 2 threes, moving his total from 36 to 38, surpassing Charlie Palmas. Logan Luxem, a sneaky player coming into this game.
100%.
All right, DJ Young after getting the inbound. Now his ball up top. Gray with his shot, and it does not fall. Gray with 6 points so far today, kind of leading these Broncos as Irwin back the other way. And a miss, going to be rebounded by Gray.
You mentioned DJ Young coming into this game. Barrington's not like other MSL squads. They use a rotation of multiple players, not just 7 or 6 guys.
An air ball right there, rebounded by Irwin. And the Huskies back the other way. Leyva for 3, and he drains it. Eli Leyva, the junior 6-foot guard.
Eli Leyva, he actually is the most efficient shooter, now that being his 20th three-point attempt. He is at almost 40% shooting from the 3.
Wow, I remember he started off first half of the season. He was 5 for 6 from beyond the arc.
Another shot by Gray, not going to fall. A little bit of a press now we're seeing by the Broncos. As now we have Trotter exchanging the pass with Luxem. Luxem already a strong performance, 6 points today, 1 foul. Luxem once again going to drive the paint, looking for an outlet. A tip pass, but it's going to fall to Leyva. Leyva at the Hersey logo, over now to Luxem. Again, Huskies taking it slow as we've seen recently after they tried to pick up the pace a little earlier as Luxem pops a 3, and it's not going to fall, but rebounded by Trotter. Trotter now outside to Grease. Grease uncontested, and it's once again going to go off the front of the rim. We've seen Grease miss a couple from beyond the arc today.
We have, doesn't look as hot as he normally is, but he's showing it on the defensive side of the ball. He's also grabbed a couple rebounds so far, making up for it. Sometimes the shots don't fall your way, and that's just what happens in the game of basketball.
2 players checking in now for the Huskies, Jake Narrat and Charlie Palmas. Leyva and Tristan Trotter are going to take a seat.
Looks like you also get the starting 5 for the Broncos as Roberts and Laughlin check in.
So this Husky team, last time they faced off against the Broncos, it stayed a pretty tight game until the fourth quarter when the Huskies went on a run to separate themselves and take the win. Again, 58-51 was that score. This time a little bit of a different story as the Huskies are up 10 early in the second quarter. Outside exchange, now that's number 11, Robbie Schomacher. Schomacher over down to Laughlin. Laughlin, and the ball is going to be tipped away and stolen by Luxem. However, they're going to say it was a kicked ball, and it's going to go back the other way to the Broncos.
Yeah, Luxem there, you see why he is the steal leader, a nice steal there, but it's basketball, you can't kick it.
And as I was mentioning in that last game, the Broncos kind of isolated Charlie Palmas, but that led Logan Luxem to have a huge game, 18 points against the Broncos.
18 points. He's currently the point leader on the floor, tied with Oliver Gray for 6. 2 threes came in handy, and those were sharp shooting bombs from beyond the arc.
And we expect to see a lot more from Luxem today. Broncos extend beyond the midline. Over now, it is Laughlin. Up top now to Puvana. Puvana over to Roberts. Excellent defense right now from the Huskies. Unable to get anything going here for the Broncos. A pass, a little awry out to Laughlin. Roberts still setting up. And Roberts, a junior, Laughlin, a sophomore. So a lot of young players on this Broncos team. Outside now to Schomacher. over inside
Good
to
defense.
Laughlin. Excellent defense here by these Huskies as Gray puts up a shot and it doesn't fall again. Excellent rebound right there by Charlie Palmas. He had multiple
Wow.
guys on him, but they're going to say he traveled. It's going to go back now to the Broncos.
And I think Naquan Valley was a great test for these Huskies. It taught them, or it just showed them a fantastic team, and it showed them what they're going to face in the state playoffs. I know they have Fremd coming up. That's a very good team as well, but it's really improved their defensive skills, and it showed on that last possession. That was absolutely locked down.
Roberts bobbles the inbound and moves it to Gray, who finishes for the two-pointer. As you were saying, yeah, Woodlowski, he showed in that last game that loss to Nequa Valley. He said that, it showed that the Huskies can play with anybody. Nequa Valley ranked number 7 according to Max Preps as a pass right there goes out of bounds off the, I believe that was off the Huskies, and so back the other way comes the Broncos. But it was a really good test for the Huskies, especially as we get later into the season and head towards the MSL championship games and the state playoffs. Laughlin over midcourt. Inside now to Schomacher. Back outside to Laughlin. For 20, Shetman up top. Shetman, one of the smaller players we've seen on the floor today. Excellent defense right there by Luxem. We got Roberts keeping it to the outside. Inside comes Gray. Gray finishes with a two-pointer. Way to get around Kyle Irwin down there in the paint.
It's such a beautiful lay, and it's going to be hard to not double team him coming down the stretch.
Back the other way is Narrod with the little floater right there. And the Huskies keep this a 9-point game.
I'm loving this play style from Woodlowski. Unbelievable. He's going fast, and he's attacking the basket quick. They usually like to hanker down on fast breaks, take their time. Not today.
Narrod is up to 6 points on the day, tied with Logan Luxem, 2 Husky leaders today. You see Gray getting some separation as Roberts misses the finish, but a rebound and a lay-in by Laughlin, and a timeout is going to be called by Coach Woodlowski and these Huskies.
Yeah, some people might not think it's going great for the Huskies right now, but you look at the points, Huskies scoring 5 so far in this quarter, and the Broncos only scoring 6. So, it kind of seems like a little bit one-sided, but when you look at it, it's really not too bad.
Yeah, very contentious second quarter, and that's what you'll expect. I mean, a lot of history between these two squads, but they didn't really play much previously. If you haven't been in tune with MSL basketball, we recently had a major switch in the divisions. The 6 better teams who performed better last year got moved into the MSL West, and the 6 least performing teams got moved to the MSL East. That shook things up. These two teams in the past decade, they've only played 6 times. Hersey's been 4-2 in that stretch. Barrington dominated the series much before that, but now they're going to start to see each other twice a year, and they're going to start playing each other a lot more, and this is going to become sort of a rivalry once again, just like it was between Tucker and Woodlowski when he was at Fremd.
Yeah, like you mentioned, those changes to the MSL, kind of huge here, didn't expect it, and it affects all sports other than football. So football will stay with the same MSL East, MSL West. For some of our viewers who are unaware, the MSL East consists of teams like Hersey, Prospect, Buffalo Grove, Elk Grove, and Wheeling Rolling Meadows in there too. MSL West traditionally Barrington, Conant, Fremd, Hoffman, Palatine, and Schaumburg. But, we're going to see changes to that in sports like lacrosse, sports like water polo, you name it, where we're going to see different matchups kind of evolve.
And it's increasing the competition of every sport, which is why we get such amazing tight games like this one.
Leva up top now to Luxem. Luxem down low to Palmas. Still keeping it to the outside, and a little bit of a miscommunication right there between Charlie Palmas and Logan Luxem, 2 senior leaders on this squad, as pass goes out of bounds and out of the stadium as it rolls through front entrance to the Ken Carter Gymnasium.
And I know our colleague Jack Foster likes to call Charlie Palmas Superman, calls him that a lot, but him and Luxem really Batman and Robin. It's like 2 guys, they play off each other, and they're just both beneficial to each other. And we saw a little miscommunication there, but they'll be back next possession.
Some would say D. Wade and Braun over here.
That's true.
Oh, and we have a wedged ball after Gray's shot did not fall. A little bit contested right there. I believe one of the Husky defenders got a hand on that one, but this one is going to be coming the other way with the Huskies. Typically sometimes you might see the cheer team come in and poke that ball out, but Jake Narrott with his size able to do that. Actually, quick shout out to Hersey cheers team competing at state right now. I believe they're down in Normal, or I'm not sure where that is, but they went over there today as Luxem's 3 does not fall, and a rebound going to be taken by the Broncos. Fast break, Puvana from 3, and it does not fall. Rebounded by the, never mind, off. It's kind of all over the place right there with the Broncos able to pick it up. Roberts bangs it off the knee of Tristan Trotter, so the possession going to stay with the Broncos. Oh, smart play right there by Roberts, recognizing where Trotter was, able to make that play and keep the ball on the Broncos side. DJ Young going to sub in now for Robbie Schomacher. Outside pass to Roberts from three is Shetman, and it's once again going to rim out. We've seen that as a common theme today. I don't know what's going on with the hoops, but nothing's really fallen for either side from beyond the arc as Pomus tries his own, and it does not once again. Rebounded by Puvana. Outside now to Gray. Again, Puvano, another small player on this Barrington team. He's being guarded by Trotter, one of the larger players on this Hersey squad.
There's Puvana.
DJ Young, a little bit of contact down low. Gray wanted something, but the ref didn't give him anything on that one. And the Hersey Orange Crush, Hersey student section, talking it up. Shout out to the Orange Crush. Excellent showing on a Thursday night. Roberts outside, bobbled by Puvana and stolen by Luxem. Back the other way, Luxem, and he's going to be fouled by DJ Young. He didn't want Luxem move down the court. You know, Luxem notorious for dunking. And I know Coach Podolski doesn't always like that sometimes.
Not really. He's a pretty hard-nosed guy. I mean, when you've been coaching Iowa State basketball for 35 years, you remember when free throws were free. You remember when dunks were really a thing, when guys were a little shorter. So he tells them maybe cool down. They're going to call this a flagrant foul. I believe it was pretty much intentional by Puvana.
Yeah, pretty much a bear hug right there by or I believe that was DJ Young.
Oh, DJ Young.
Luxem's first shot is going to fall.
Honestly, that steal was entirely created by this Hersey Orange Crush. They got loud
Yeah.
that possession, and honestly, it's been so amazing for Hersey basketball in general. Past couple seasons, I would say our freshman, sophomore year, 2 to 3 years ago, they weren't that good. I would say they had a couple losing seasons. That was before Wadlowski came to the helm, but now you got guys showing up, you got the students coming out, and they're making a difference at the Carter.
Logan Luxem draining his 32nd free throw of the season there.
Oh, Charlie Pomus unable to finish, but there's going to be a foul called down low. I believe that is on DJ Young once again.
Charlie Pomus going
not
for
DJ
his
Young.
40th free throw of the season. Will he drain it?
First one is going to miss.
And you're going to see that's Mr. Gray's first of the afternoon, his first foul. And he's done a good job limiting his fouls while maximizing his possessions. He's had 10 points, our leading scorer so far, still only his first foul. But not a lot of fouls for either squad today.
Yeah. So after the flagrant foul, the Huskies able to escape with 2 points after a couple missed free throws there. Now coming back the other way is the Broncos. Over now to Shetman. Shetman looking for an outlet, finds Roberts. Roberts heavily contested by Leva, and another steal right there by Luxem. Luxem has a fast break, and he's going to, it looked like he wanted to go for the dunk there, but just lays it in for 2. And the Huskies back up by 10.
Man, Air Luxem almost cleared for takeoff. He wanted that, but remember, as you mentioned earlier, Wadlowski, that little voice in your head telling you, no, take the points.
Yeah, I believe that was Johnny Fahey, my colleague last year, who said that there's some kind of punishment. I believe you don't play if you don't if you dunk and you miss or something like that. So
wow.
I don't know. I'll need to fact check that one, but tight ship held
Logan
here
Luxem
by
already at
Coach
3
Wadlowski.
steals this game, doubling his average.
Wow.
Thoughts on that? Is he going to keep it going throughout the next half?
I mean, he better keep it going if they want any momentum. I mean, these steals, they're lightening up this Hersey Orange Crush crowd. They've just been electrifying this whole stadium in general, and it's been very effective in transition buckets.
Outside to DJ Young. DJ Young knocks down the 3. Shetman off the pass right there. Logan Luxem taking the inbound from Jake Narrod. Under a minute left in this second quarter, in this first half here today. Huskies with a 7-point lead. Luxem to the outside, over up top to Irwin. Luxem with time for 3. Off the front of the rim, and it's going to be rebounded by Gray. Gray, he had the space, but Luxem's going to take it. He drives to the rim, and they're going to call an offensive foul. Wow. Excellent way for Kyle Irwin to step in front of Gray right there, keep his feet planted, and now the ball's coming the other way.
And that's why he's a playmaker. He doesn't light up the score sheet. He won't light up the stat sheet in general, but he'll make those small plays. That's why Widlowski starts him. That's why he loves to put him in. Kyle Irwin. You call him the lightning bolt the way he electrifies this team.
Kyle Irwin, I played lacrosse with him in the spring, and just such a powerful player. Uses his body, a physical player too, and you definitely see that tonight on the court. So the Huskies now with under 20 seconds trying to set up here. Outside to Luxem, over to Leva. Time ticking away, getting close to 10 seconds left. They're going to hold for the final shot here. Thomas just going to keep it up top. You got to imagine he wants this one himself. Double teamed over now to Luxem. 1 second left. Thomas with a deep shot that's not going to fall from the logo. With excellent effort right there. And so that's the end of your first half. The Huskies with a 15-8 lead. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. 10 minutes now with this halftime. We'll be right back for our third quarter of play. Good evening and welcome back to the Ken Carter Gymnasium. We're live on Marquee Sports Network, part of Marquee Sports Network Community Showcase Series. We're underway with a matchup between your Hersey Huskies and the Barrington Broncos. After the first half, the Huskies with a 7-point lead, up 25-18 over the Broncos. Caden, what have we seen?
Well, I mean, we've seen some fireworks. As we mentioned at the end of the first, it's been fast-paced. There's been not a lot of fouls. Ball's been in play a lot, and that's the basketball you love to see. In contrast to some slower played games on the perimeter. Now, Bob Widlowski probably telling his team to keep their foot on the gas. They've hit some major shots recently. On the other side, Coach Tucker's team, Barrington, he's just telling them, clamp up on defense, make a couple big shots. It's only a 7-point game. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and if you're Barrington, you're trying to look for an outlet other than Oliver Gray, who has 10 points right now. The Huskies sharing points between Logan Luxem, Charlie Thomas, a couple other key players tonight for the Huskies. All right, Q-Tip, any final insight before we get underway with the second half?
Yeah, last time we saw the Broncos play the Huskies, they kind of shut down Charlie Palmas. Palmas only has 1 point coming out of this half, but you know what else we saw last time we played the Broncos? Logan Luxem throwing up 18 points throughout the game, and right now he's at 9 points coming out of the half. So will it be another historic game for Logan Luxem? Can he keep the pace up?
All right, any second now, we're going to get underway with the second half of play. Once again, Huskies up by 7, 25-18. Let's take you down to the court now.
Yeah, Quentin, you mentioned Logan Luxem with that 18-point game last time against the Broncos, and he already has 9. Couple big triples. He had the free throw on the flagrant. Also a nice little lay-in, tried to dunk, chose otherwise, but part of this could be because he's matched up on 5'7" sophomore Luke Laughlin on the Broncos side.
He has 3 steals coming out of the first half as well,
True.
doubling his average, so I don't know if I'd put it entirely on the Broncos defense, but they definitely could step it up a little bit.
Yeah, I know Coach Tucker has mentioned, looking towards this Broncos side, that, after all of these games, we've seen Oliver Gray put up 15 points against Prairie Ridge, 20 versus Nequa Valley, and 33 versus Prospect, as you mentioned earlier. He's looking for other players to step in and fill some of those roles here, so hopefully we could see a player like Jackson Roberts or Luke Laughlin, who has the ball now, who start putting up some major numbers right here. Right now, the player with the most amount of points on the floor, other than Gray, is Evan Shetman.
And hello, mismatch police. We just saw Luke Laughlin bring the ball up on Tristan Trotter. 9-inch height difference. Might even be 10 if my math is incorrect. That's a pretty big disparity.
Yeah, that's a huge difference right there. And, we did mention size earlier as something that's going to be a factor in this game. Shot by Roberts off the rim, going to be rebounded down low by Robbie Schomacher. And there's going to be a foul that's going to be called on the Huskies. That foul is going to be committed by number 11, Kyle Irwin, a physical player on this Husky team, as we mentioned earlier.
We also saw Kyle Irwin take a big foul in the first half. He gets that offensive charge off of Gray.
The inbound pass going to go a little bit long, but they're going to say it's going to stay with the Broncos, as I believe that was Charlie Palmas kind of reached over the head of Evan Shetman.
And we're seeing physicality from the Huskies to start this defensive possession. I think Widlowski might have told his team in the locker room, maybe slow it down, but also be aggressive, take the ball, and then keep it as long as you can.
A long three, it's going to completely miss the rim. Another air ball. It's going to be rebounded, though, and put back by Oliver Gray. So Oliver Gray adds another 2 to his tremendous amount of points that he has today. and he finishes the job right there. Broncos with a quick 2. 5-point game now. By no means is this one over as the Huskies move the ball around the outside. They're probably looking to slow this one down. No shot clock in high school, so they could take as much time as they want today. They could even close out this game if they really wanted to. Irwin to Trotter, keep trading the pass. Now find Narod inside. Narod tries to lay the 2, goes for the rebound, and that one falls.
Textbook possession, great ball movement against that strong man defense from the Broncos. Find the inside man, and then second chance points. Second chance points are the food of the gods if you're a basketball coach, and you love to see that.
Luke Laughlin right back the other way, unable to finish as Charlie Thomas gets the block down low. This ball going to stay with the Broncos.
Charlie Thomas, we see his defensive prowess there. Charlie Thomas leads the team in blocks.
And that's a pretty surprising statistic. I mean, you have Jake Narot down low. You have Tristan Trotter, hasn't played as much minutes, but surprising Jake Narot's not the leader. Just shows you Thomas, his all-around athleticism and talent.
Broncos looking to restart now with possession early in this third quarter. Oliver Gray spin move, tries to lay it in and does over Kyle Irwin.
Wow, a little shrug coming off of that. Wish he had called a foul, but we see Oliver Gray get a little looky with the eyes. Looked at the student section, looked at Orange Crush a little bit, shook his head, looking at the bench. Kind of a little fired up coming out of the locker room.
Yeah, Orange Crush has been giving it a hard time as the pass goes off Thomas's fingertips right back to Gray. He looks to move it the other way, and I don't know what that was, but a missed shot right there by Laughlin looking to lay it in. Gray tried to foul up, but he will be fouled. Sorry, that was Roberts on the layup attempt. I believe a Hersey player got a hand on that one. That wasn't just a misfire down low.
Yeah, I think that's a smart foul from Luxem there. You know, force him to the free throw line. I know he has been really consistent in his last game. You said, what, he went 13 for 13?
Yep. Doesn't make that one.
Free throw is a problem for both sides so far. The Broncos right now 1 for 3 overall on their free throw attempts. The Huskies on the other side 2 for 4.
And you mentioned that was a good foul by Luxem, Q-tip. Only thing that could be detrimental is your leading scorer now, if you're a Husky fan. He's got 2, and he could start to continue more when the game gets down to the wire, when it gets more physical. Huskies, you also have 2 fouls in this quarter, so you only have 2 more to give. Could be a little dangerous. Don't want to give up unnecessary points later in this third quarter.
Logan Luxem up top to Kyle Irwin. Narot looking to pop a shot, does not, decides to move it over to Logan Luxem. Back now to Narot. These two trading off passes and trading off points as that one is going to miss. They're going to call a foul on Jackson Roberts, the junior. It's a little bit of a junior-on-junior crime right there.
Roberts there for his 3rd foul, almost fouling out there.
That's actually going to be credited to Oliver Gray, his 3rd, and that's dangerous for a Bronco fan. Now you only have 2 left to give. Or no, you have 1. Oliver Gray, he could be fouling out of this game. If you take away MJ, Huskies going to have a hot run.
Narot's first one falls, as you said. Gray with 15 of the Broncos' 23. If he didn't show up today, it's a 28-8 game.
Wow.
As both fall for Jake Narot. So you got to imagine Gray at least been taking a lot from the Orange Crush.
Yep.
You got to imagine he's going to try to simmer down and hunker through the rest of this game. Can't commit any more fouls. Speaking of Gray, he gets the ball outside, the top of the arc. Hand off to Shetman. Shetman up top to Roberts. Roberts driving inside, lays in a 2, but it does not fall. Once again, and a crazy rebound right there by Jake Narot. Just launches it down the field, showing his quarterback arm, but it's going to be taken by the Barrington Broncos. Side now, Roberts. A little bit of a double team there, but he's able to separate. The ball is poked free, and what a play by Jake Narot. Over now to Charlie Thomas, who finishes for the dunk. A turnover caused by Jake Narot. And Charlie Thomas finishes the play. And your Huskies with an 8-point lead.
Fly like an eagle, Charlie Thomas. Takeoff. Looked like from the free throw line. Put that on a poster, McFall.
Back the other way is Shetman, who nails a big 3. So the momentum all of a sudden swinging back towards the Broncos. An excellent response right there from Shetman and this Broncos offense. Luxem trying to sell a foul right there. Roberts is on him. Laughlin's on him as he moves it inside to Trotter, and Trotter lays in the 2-pointer.
You gotta love this Orange Crush section. We've seen even rivalry games, they've been quieter, and they've had a larger crowd then. They're loud tonight. Don't know if it's because they know the TV cameras are pointed at them, but they're pretty hyped up, and it's causing a big difference in Husky play.
A block down low right there. I believe that was Narwat and Trotter in on that one. Schomacher, again, like we said, one of the shorter players on this Broncos side. Of course, is going to get contested every time he tries to go up to the rim there. And another example of what a foul going to be committed, and 2 shots coming now for Schomacher, or for Shetman. The first shot falls. So the Huskies, after this one, going to move on and take on Fremd. You can watch that one on our Hersey Dispatch YouTube page if you enjoyed this broadcast. I believe that's going to be Caden and Jack Foster. Jack Foster working the camera tonight. I actually want to take this opportunity to shout out our entirety of the crew, Jack Foster, Jake Bazikas, and Alexia Erdy on camera, and Emily Durkin, our producer for tonight. And once again, thank you to Marquee Sports Network for letting us have this opportunity as both fall for Shetman.
Thomas puts down his 41st free throw of the season right there.
Leva up top, he's checking in for the Huskies. A nice pass right there by Luxem to Narwat, who finishes. Narwat now with 12 on the day. He's the leading point scorer for the Huskies. Great looking inside, trying to finish there. It's not going to fall. Rebound right there by Shetman over to Young. Broncos trying to get a play. Bodies flying all over the place. There's that shot right there by, I believe that's Laughlin. It's going to go awry, but he's going to be fouled. So 2 shots coming up for the Broncos.
Man, this place is real loud. And you mentioned earlier, thanks to the Marquee Sports Network for allowing us to stream this on their platform. This is really one of the biggest games in Hersey history. It's just a regular season game, but all of the, just the production, just the attention that gets brought on the Hersey basketball program, not just good for us and the media team, good for these fans, good for these students, good for these players, and just good in general for every single fan and Husky fan watching at home.
Yeah, that's been an excellent, it's been an excellent year for the Huskies, so it's amazing that we have this year in particular to have the opportunity to call these games, as Shetman's second one's going to fall despite some chirping from the Hersey Orange Crush student section, as Luxem's three-pointer is not going to fall. Rebounded, though, by the Huskies, so they keep possession again, trying to stretch out possession time a little bit as we're back to a 6-point game. Another miss, but rebounded by Narwat, using his size and bodying through for his 14th point of the game.
Now, if you played those NBA Jam games as a kid, you remember the game breaker, and I think Jake Narwat activated his. He's had a 6-0 run past minute.
Shetman heating up from beyond the arc today. Another three-pointer, as he has had most of the Bronco points here in this third quarter. This streaks it back to a 3-point game. The Huskies trying to get, or 5-point game. The Huskies trying to get separation, but Broncos staying relevant here. Here's Thomas for a 3, but it's going to bounce off the rim and over the backboard. And so the Broncos coming back the other way. The Huskies, they started off hot from 3, but they haven't really been able to find that spark, that big play to set them up.
Exactly, and it seems like they have all the energy and most of the momentum. It's just been Barrington hitting their shots, and it doesn't matter, because if the shots fall, you're going to get points, you're going to start to take lead, you're going to win. That's just the game of basketball, and right now, shots are falling for Barrington.
Outside now to Laughlin, that was Young with the pass. Laughlin's pass is going to be tipped and stolen by Thomas. Thomas back the other way, trying to speed things up. Over now to Grease. Grease lays in a 2 right there, and Ethan Grease up now to 4 points. He's been kind of quiet today. First player off the bench for the Huskies. An excellent shot and finish right there as the Huskies separate this one back up to 7 with 1:30 left in this third quarter.
Kind of interesting, I haven't seen much of Kyle Irwin off the bench in this third quarter. Looks like he's trying to check in sometime soon, but it's been mostly Ethan Grease on the floor.
And a tip right there by Ethan Grease, and it's back the other way to Luxem looking to finish, and he's going to lay it in softly, not going for that big finish like Charlie Thomas had earlier. Huskies putting together a little bit of a run here after the Shetman three-pointer. It's a 9-point game, 41-32. Speak of Shetman, back the other way, and he's just drilling these from the corner. 3 straight threes from Shetman right there. That's Evan Shetman, the senior. Excellent response right there by the Broncos, exactly what they needed as the Huskies started to roll away late in this third quarter. Another steal right now, but they're going to call a foul. And Laughlin is in complete shock right there. He believed there was no contact. He got that ball cleanly. The refs say otherwise.
That was an interesting call. Looks like the tail ref on our left side doesn't really agree with the head ref's decision, but was his call. Interesting there, you rarely see a blocking foul with little contact, such like that. Pretty interesting call, but Husky basketball.
Irwin and Trotter are going to check in for the Huskies. Coming out is Logan Luxem.
And Jake Narrott.
Jake Narrott, yeah. So I was trying to scramble for that other name. I saw the one. I thought that was Kyle Irwin, but I just mentioned he checked in as the two-pointer does not fall. Rebounded there by Shetman. Shetman having a big third quarter, a couple rebounds, those 3 3-pointers in the free throw attempts. Because he's kind of been the point man right now for this Barrington team. You know, we mentioned seeing another player step up. Oliver Gray not on the floor right now. He has those 3 fouls, so they're going to try to turn to other players here, and Shetman has definitely been the route so far.
Yeah, this is the first time Gray's been subbed out, and Shetman, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to milk the cow once again from beyond the arc.
A pass right there by Roberts. You see Coach Tucker clearly upset with that play right there. I believe that was intended for number 11, Robbie Schumacher. As now we have a couple new Huskies checking in. Logan walks him right back into the play. Logan walks him looking to speed things up. They're going to call I believe there's a foul called right there. That was Laughlin who was on Luxem. No, I'll call a push off. Sorry, a push right there.
It's a very smart foul. You have some to give in the quarter. Time running out, I believe there's 6.7 seconds on the clock. As that possession started, you're just trying to waste some time.
A deep 3 from Pumice, and he hits it. A buzzer beater right there. Oh my God, that was from the midline. That's basically a half-court shot right there. An excellent shot by Charlie Pumice. All right, we're gonna take a quick break right now. 44-35, your Huskies up 9. We're about to turn into this final fourth quarter. Welcome back to Marquee Sports Network. It's about to start the fourth quarter here between the Hersey Huskies and the Barrington Broncos, an MSL matchup tonight. I'm Ryan Antonucci, joined here by Caden Drakoski and Quentin Bursch as the Huskies start off with possession. Irwin up top to Luxem. Pumice over now to Irwin. As the Huskies, again, trying to take their time here. They have the lead, no sense in the rush, but Luxem's going to take a shot off the front, going to be rebounded there by Gray. Thought Grease tipped that one out of his hands. Gray back in this game with 3 fouls when he stepped out. Shetman had a huge performance, putting in 3 3-pointers. He missed up before. They're going to call a double dribble right there on Oliver Gray. Oliver Gray visibly upset with that one, trying to shake it off.
He's in a tough situation right now. Obviously, Shetman has turned on his shots from three-point range. He's been hitting pretty much everything, but Oliver Gray has been the X factor all game. Right now he's facing pressure from the student section. Obviously dislikes that. He's facing some bad defensive and offensive breaks, foul trouble as well. All odds are against him.
Luxem drives inside, moves it outside the Grease for 3 off the front of the rim, but it's going to be rebounded by Pumice. Pumice lays it in for the 2-pointer. A bit of a series of events there, a couple tips and a couple of ride balls off the backboard, but nevertheless, Pumice able to pick it up and finish it. And we've seen a lot of points from the Huskies come from similar plays like that in tonight's matchup.
Second chance points. That's what Wardlowski preached coming in the game, and that's what his team has prevailed.
DJ Young now up top to Schumacher. Schumacher outside to Gray. Gray inside to Shetman, and Shetman is going to lay in the 2-pointer. So despite his size, able to lay in a couple points here for the Broncos.
And ain't that a surprise? Shetman up to 16. He is your point leader on both teams, surpassing Oliver Gray.
Yeah, 16 points tonight for Shetman, 15 for Gray as Pumice looks to pop another 2, and it falls in. So Pumice starting to light up now. He started off, he only had 1 point going into the second quarter, but since put up 9. Sorry, into the second half. Shetman with the ball up top, guarded by Pumice. Over to number 3, Luke Laughlin, DJ Young. Shetman once again holding Gray. We haven't seen him shoot much from beyond the arc. He's trying to make a play here outside to Shetman. Moves inside and almost a block right there by Ethan Grease coming across the middle. I believe, did he make contact with Shetman on this, so
yeah,
it was like a
he
punch.
landed on him.
Yeah. So I was going to call a foul right there on the Huskies.
Very physical play, Shetman of the line, and now it's time to point out the scoring disparity. I mean, you have 3 players in double digits for the Huskies. I believe that's Nara, Luxem, and Pomus, but you also have a lot of scoring to many other players. I believe they have 6 or 7 players on this Husky team who have put the ball in the hoop. On the other side, you only have 4 for the Broncos and 2 major ones. Gray and Shetman have combined for 31 points, only 6 by all other players on the Bronco roster.
Shetman's second one is going to fall, and this shrinks it down to a 10-point game. So with 5:46 remaining in this game, it's a 10-point lead right now for the Huskies in a low-scoring 48-38 affair. Wait, Pomus, a little step back, shot for a 3. Oh, rolls off the front of the rim. Wouldn't that have been a nice shot right there as he able to get a little bit of separation. Pomus had that huge buzzer beater 3-pointer to close off the third quarter in case you missed it. I'd recommend rewinding and going back and watching that excellent shot right there with 2.6 seconds on the clock. A block right there. Ball going to stay with the Broncos.
Yeah, that 3-pointer you're talking about does go back to tying up Charlie Pomus and Logan Luxem on threes for the season, both at 38.
Gray off the inbound looking to make a play here. Excellent defense right there by Leva, the junior. Sorry, Yeva, if I've name correction right there, but it's going to come the other way after the turnover.
And that's going to be
Broncos.
that's a tough mistake if you're Oliver Gray. You cannot set up that illegal screen. You cannot risk getting called for that. Now you have no fouls to give. You are in foul trouble. Once they remove you, this game is over. He needs to be careful, and it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Brian Tucker does with Oliver Gray.
So I believe a timeout was taken there by the Huskies. Huskies using their second timeout.
You know, I think you actually have to keep Oliver Gray in here. I don't really know what else you could do. When you have 2 players combining for 32 points, Oliver Gray having 15 of them, you have to keep him in here even though he is in foul trouble.
100%. I mean, he's still been the guy. He's been the X factor. He's been the go-to guy for the Broncos. Taking him out is detrimental. We saw them take him out. Obviously, Shetman stepped up. But it's going to be rare to hit consecutive threes like that. I believe they take him out of the game. They lose size, they lose agility, they lose speed, and most importantly, they lose scoring. And I think Wadlowski's going to capitalize on that. If he comes out, Huskies run away.
All right, time for a quick shout out here to friends and family watching at home, including Hersey fans, Hersey Huskies, and everybody throughout the Chicago area community. We thank you for tuning in on this Thursday night. You know, there's a lot you could be watching right now. The Olympics starting up soon. Some other sports, the NBA, Super Bowl coming up this week. Any Super Bowl predictions for some of us?
You know, a lot of people really hate the Patriots, but I just like Drake May. You know, Drake, May. I think that's a great nickname. A name so nice you got to say it twice, you know.
Interesting.
Excellent turnaround by the Patriots. You know, only 6 years between Tom Brady era and what they've done now.
Excellent turnaround, Bad Bunny as well.
Yeah. All right, we're back, starting up. 5 minutes left in this game. Luxem up top, trading off the ball with Pomus. Yeva, sorry, one of the smaller players on this Hersey team, the junior, getting held a little bit as he just exchanged passes with the Luxem. And a block right there, almost a turnover, but Pomus is able to get his ball back. And Trotter now with space, guarded by Gray. He's going to drive the rim, and he's going to finish for 2 points.
And that's how you take advantage of the dilapidated, more respectful, I guess you could put it, Gray. He's not trying to foul. He restrains from contact. Trotter takes advantage.
Yeah, Gray, 4 fouls on the day. I believe 1 more, and he's gone. As Gray drives inside a pass for Roberts. See the size disparity right there as that one went a little high, but Laughlin able to jump up there and grab that one. Laughlin now inside to Shetman, and Shetman lays in another 2-pointer. You know, Shetman, 12 points last time the Huskies faced off against the Broncos, but today up to 19, approaching the 20s. Luxem outside, driving inside, moving it over to Yeva. Yeva lays it in for the 2-pointer.
And I love how physical this game is. I love how physical both teams are. I mean, 12-point lead in the fourth quarter, but you're still fighting. Both of these teams still fighting, especially the Huskies. I love that they're still being physical and they're trying to wear down this Broncos defense even late.
Schomacher moving it outside. That's Laughlin. Laughlin up top, finds a space, moves inside, lays in the two-pointer. An excellent finish right there by Luke Laughlin. Now, back now the other way is the Huskies. Logan Luxem moving through DJ Young. They're going to call a foul. I believe that one will be on DJ Young. He kind of leaned it into Logan Luxem right there. Checking in now for the Huskies, Kyle Irwin for Eli Yeva.
Tucker frustrated with that foul, deems it unnecessary, and it's just been that kind of season. We mentioned earlier Tucker, 17th year. He's had such an amazing career. He's the 4th winningest coach in MSO history. Believe he's nearing about 350 on his career. And this is one of those off years. 9-12 are the Broncos, and they're looking ahead to 9-13.
Yeah, they lost a lot of seniors last year. So there's going to be a foul called right there. As I was saying, they lost a lot of seniors last year. The only bright spot, Oliver Gray coming into the season, 3-year varsity starter. But, you know, that 19-8 team last year, clearly it has not been able to fold over into this new generation of Bronco players. But you do have a lot of young players like Luke Laughlin and Jackson Roberts who could potentially step up into a bigger role in the coming seasons. Logan Luxem up top over to Charlie Thomas, inside to Luxem. Pass a little high there for Jake Narot. He recoups and moves it inside to Thomas for the finish right there. And an excellent ball movement right there by this Husky offense. 2:30 remaining, 54-42. Your score, Huskies up by 12. Barrington Broncos, an excellent rebound game despite those past couple of losses. And I believe we're going to call
backcourt.
Yeah, backcourt violation. Barrington Broncos, and timeout is going to be taken by Coach Brian Tucker, visibly upset with what he's seen in this fourth quarter from this Barrington team.
The Husky game plan has just worked impeccably. They are using their size advantage to feed it down low, as we saw multiple times in previous quarters. It's just easy finger roll layups that they've been getting all day. They haven't had to rely on the perimeter like they have against Prospect, against other teams where they face big men like Fremd, Palatine. They haven't relied on that perimeter play and slowed it down. They were able to go quick, pass it underneath, and get that easy lay. And they've just been picking on this Broncos defense, and it shows, and now they're starting to run away with it.
You know, coming into this game, I talked about it before, was the Hersey depth going to be better against the one-on-one on Oliver Gray? And it honestly didn't turn into a one-on-one. Who did you say, Chetton? I don't want to miss Chetman. Yeah, he has 19 points, but everyone else on the Bronco team, you know, they got one person putting up 3, one person putting up 5, but the depth from the Huskies, we've got 3 4-pointers and then 1 5-pointer in Eli Yeva. Also a 14-point, a 12-point, 11-point, just the depth from the Huskies showing in here.
It's just been so overpowering, and Coach Brian Tucker just hasn't had the weapons, hasn't had the game plan to answer these Huskies, and this is a major win for Hersey. Barring some miracle, this is a major win for Hersey, momentum-wise, going into that Fremd matchup.
As we're coming to a close in this one, excellent environment tonight in the Ken Carter Gymnasium. Our principal, Dr. McFall, previously was the principal at Barrington High School, so he's in the gym tonight and rooting on the Husky squad, but, you know, a little bit of love also for this Barrington team as the ball. I believe there's going to be a call right there, and Narot kind of launched the ball backwards. It's going to hit off the low ceiling at the Ken Carter Gymnasium and almost rebound and hit one of the refs on the baseline.
Yeah, speaking of ceilings, what a unique gym, Ken Carter Gymnasium, one of the smallest in the MSL. But it's very unique, it's very tight, feels like you're on top of the action. You go over to Barrington, that gym is massive. They have nosebleed seats, can barely see the court. Big disparity between these two schools, not only gameplay-wise, but arena-wise.
Yeah, the Ken Carter Gymnasium was recently renovated as Logan Luxem turns over to Shetman. Shetman back the other way in a huge collision between Kyle Irwin and Luke Laughlin. I believe that foul is going to be called on Irwin, but a turnover right there, intercepted by Shetman, and back the other way is a huge collision right at the bottom of the hoop. He's going to get 2 shots here for Luke Laughlin.
And I know you want plays to put on your highlight tape. I know you want to make all of those cool plays, get them fired up, get students electrified, but you're up, you got to relax a little bit. Now's the time where the physicality is going to stop, and hopefully Widlowski starts to put in some of these players that maybe can get their moment, get their chance to shine on regional television.
Yeah, and you also, not only regional television, but I'm eyeing the crowd here. I see a couple scouts throughout the crowd, some mysterious players in hoods and papers and eyeing down the players on the court, unless I'm mistaken. But a big environment here.
Yeah,
two
that's
top
not
teams.
inconspicuous.
I know it looks pretty. I don't know if we get a camera on the guy, but maybe we'll keep him quiet as he inbound for those. He's right there. Turnover by the press, but they're going to call a foul. The Barrington bench clearly unhappy with that one right there. That was Laughlin who got a hand in there. And so the Broncos going to try to play the foul game, going to try to play the press game, and see if they can restrict this Hersey team and get a couple more points on the board to shrink the deficit right now.
And early fouls, along with a couple in the past couple minutes, they've just been kind of a little careless for the Broncos, kind of frustrated with the outcome of this game, resort to fouling, and that's been dangerous. Now you're in a quick bonus. Now you really don't have weapons. You don't have fouls to stop fast breaks. You don't have any of that now. You just, if you want to come back down 11, 2 minutes left, now you got to focus sharpshooting. Maybe some miracle will happen to the Carter for the Broncos.
Luxem's first one's going to fall. Second one off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Narot, who's going to be fouled. Whoa, it's an excellent offensive rebound by Jake Narot, getting in there, getting the rebounds. We've seen it all day today, and it's just another example playing through the final buzzer. 2 minutes left here and making huge plays despite being up by 11.
Narot averages 11.7 points per game. Right now he's at 14. Can he make it 15?
And that increase in point production, they're just capitalizing on Oliver Gray falling into foul trouble. And capitalizing, that's really just the main idea, the central claim that Wadlowski has preached throughout the season and shown today. They've capitalized on mistakes. You've seen steals from Luxem. They've capitalized on foul trouble from Oliver Gray. As you just saw there, they're being more physical towards him. They've just capitalized on the size difference as well. It's just been aggressive, great coaching display by Wadlowski in a tough game.
Gray's shot, it's going to, I don't think that hit the front of the rim. That is technically an air ball, but it's going to be rebounded by the Broncos and a foul there down low by the Huskies.
Narot taking the free throws for us there. One of our most efficient free throw shooters, 38 for 50 there.
Wow.
Yeah, in the past couple games, though, shooting in general has been a problem for the Huskies. I believe I saw somewhere that they were shooting 30%. I don't know if that was against Palatine or against Nick Valley a couple days ago. This is going to be another foul down low right there.
Yeah,
the three-point shot's going to be missed.
I know from the three-pointer, a lot of them are around 30%, but that's honestly not too bad for shooting from three. I didn't really look at the field goal stats.
Yeah, not at all, but you're right. Field goal percentage, I think, was around 30 when they played Palatine. That's a huge divisional matchup. You cannot let your field goal percentage suffer, and that's just a frustrating dip. They just can't have that. I think Wadlowski's got to preach. They got to walk in this room, 100 free throws at the start of practice, 100 free throws before they leave. Focus on shooting the most before you get to that friend game, because field goal percentage wins games, and it will get revenge against the Vikings.
Shetman's first one falls. That's going to get him to 20 points. As now another one for 21 tonight for Shetman, the leading scorer on both sides of the ball. Excellent performance, and a timeout is going to be called by Jake Narot as he's unable to inbound that one. As you were mentioning, that game against Fremd, Palatine, Fremd, Hersey, about 2 weeks ago, that was it. That was those 2-3 teams just trading off first place. However, the Huskies, they dropped one to Fremd, they dropped one to Palatine, though they did beat Palatine earlier in the season. Now they have Fremd coming up here. What's their route to be, are they able to finish on top of the division?
They still technically are. I mean, good takedown of Barrington today, barring the holding of this result, but Fremd, that game is massive. You need to come out there, you need to fire. Believe it's at home as well. Yeah, I'm on the call. I don't know how I forgot that. But yeah, it's a home game. This place better be packed to the brim, sold out crowd. That's what you need to make it to the MSL Championship, because you're right. There's those three juggernauts, and they keep fighting, vying for position. I believe Palatine is a tough game against Meadows down the stretch as well soon. I think they play soon. And then Barrington next week, I believe they have. So it's going to be tough for them as well. If the Huskies can keep it clean, they have a real shot at making history.
And this Barrington team is very capable of pulling off some of those big upsets. We mentioned their record, not that pretty, but, they've played in considerably close games against teams like Palatine, but just unable to finish. And I think that's another example of what we've seen tonight. There's a foul committed by the Broncos right there. That's number 3, Luke Laughlin. Charlie Palmas, one of the best shooters on this Hersey team, coming to the line with an 11-point lead with 1:40 left in this fourth quarter.
And it looked like Gray was done for the night. He might be checking back in, trying to shoot some life in the Bronco faithful.
Thomas's first shot off the rim. Gray checking in for Roberts. Puvana also ready to check in as Narot's shot falls.
Thomas making his 42nd free throw of the season right there.
Gray inbound to Young. And a little bit of pace as the Broncos move down the court now. Gray outside to Shetman. Shetman's been hot for three, but he's unable to finish. And they're going to say the little bit of contact down low, it's going to go off the hands of the Huskies. And so the Broncos have another shot here to put 3 or potentially 2 on the board.
Man, give credit to Shetman. I believe he's had somewhere around 13 second half points. I believe he has more than that. He has at least 15. He's been dominant from beyond the arc.
Speaking of Shetman, he had a wide open lane. Did not finish as Gray tries to wrestle the ball out of the hands of Logan Luxem. They're going to call a jump ball. Possession arrow the way of the Broncos. So it'll stay with the Broncos, 118. And it's kind of urgent now to get some points on the board, down 12. And a foul's going to be called right away. A little bit of contact right there between Kyle Irwin and Shetman, I believe. Shetman is now going to go to the line.
Now both teams in the bonus. And I think probably 10 minutes ago, Jake Narot was shooting free throws down here, and there was 2:03 left on the clock. We've gone 45 seconds in about 10 minutes. This game has slowed down. It's become physical. And it's not, and there hasn't been that much energy. It's not extremely tight. So it's kind of interesting how both teams still playing physical down to the wire.
Very physical right now. Sorry, Q-Tip, I didn't mean to interrupt. Continue.
Chetman has to be having one of his greatest games of the season right now. 22 points, going for 23 right now. I mean, that's really impressive.
4 threes help you.
Yeah.
A lot.
And a lot of free throw attempts, too. Broncos attempting to foul, unable to. They're putting the double team on Narot. Side to Trotter. Now Thomas is a wide open spot. He misses the slam, and Wodlowski is not happy about that one. Back the other way now is the Broncos. You know, we mentioned Wodlowski holds a tight ship when it comes to dunking and making those types of plays. DJ Young sets up the ball on the outside. And I believe we're going to get a whistle here. Another timeout is going to be called.
Wow, Wodlowski staring Thomas down like a matador. You saw it. He just kicked that chair. Probably wanted to throw it 20 rows up. He was not happy. Enters the huddle. Can only imagine what he's feeling like right now. He's fuming. Still up 10, but it just shows you the old school coach Wodlowski is. And some might say it's a little too hard. Some might say it can't keep up with the modern game. But his coaching style has produced results for this program.
He has definitely been a bright spot for this Hersey team. Numerous years below 500, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast. But now they've turned it around in these past 2 seasons with him. And, you know, once again, a historical coach, coached with Fremd for a very long time. And now back here with this Husky team, which has a lot of promise. And, you know, we've seen Jake Narot tonight, Eli Yeva, a couple other players, Tristan Trotter, who've stepped in. So definitely a bright future for this Hersey team as we look forward to next year.
Still speaking about Wodlowski, this would be his 40th win as head coach of the Hersey Huskies. He just entered the IHSA top 200 and winning as coaches, which is insanely impressive for an active coach and only coaching 35 seasons. He's already halfway to 1,000. That's extremely impressive.
Deep three for Gray, going off the front of the rim. Puvana tries to rebound, but they're going to say he stepped out of bounds, and it's going back the other way, so Puvana unable to get to that one in time. Laughlin and Roberts checking in for Puvana and Gray. So Gray stepping out with 47 seconds left. Do you believe that's Coach Tucker waving the white flag?
Yep. Maybe putting in some guys who haven't really seen, and I believe that's what we're going to get here. Some, I guess you could say, some garbage time minutes.
Yeah.
But it's not really garbage. It's a great way to showcase your skills on such a big stage, especially if you haven't gotten a lot of varsity minutes.
You also got to mention that Gray does have 4 fouls, so maybe that's another reason why they pulled him off the inbound if they're going to foul once again right away. But Narrock calls once again another timeout for this Hersey team. They have one timeout left, 47 seconds, up by 10. Score is 58-48. Your Huskies, with excellent performance tonight, kind of kept a pretty significant, you know, it's like 7 points now, teetering around 10 points for this game.
Overall, great game. Just exploited the flaws of this Broncos defense. Just stuck hard-nosed inside passing. Narot 16, Luxem supporting with 13, or sorry, Luxem has 12. Thomas quietly up to 13. Great overall game by the Hersey Huskies on this Thursday night.
So we're going to try this again. Narot looking to inbound. He finds Thomas. Excellent play drawn up by Budlowski in the timeout. Narot trying to hold the ball. Now moves it over midcourt to Thomas. Thomas not driving to the rim this time, taking his time. Luxem drives to the paint, moves it outside to Kyle Irwin. Kyle Irwin going to be fouled by Luke Laughlin. That's Laughlin's 4th foul on the game.
That's a quiet 4. I think he entered this quarter at 1.
Yeah.
Just an analogy about how physical they've been.
Irwin with 2 shots here. You see Gray and Puvana ready to check in. First one is going to fall for Irwin. That's his 5th point on the night as Roberts and Young are going to sub out. Kyle Irwin will knock down both, so the Huskies extend it back to 12, 60-48. Your score, 33 seconds remaining in this one. Gray on the court, drives to the rim and finishes. It's going to be a whistle. Oliver Gray. Say Oliver Gray was fouled on that one.
Goaltending.
Or goaltending, sorry.
Not sure why you would dunk on defense. Never seen that before.
Yeah. Inbound now to Luxem. Luxem over to Irwin. Irwin has space. A double team and a foul going to be called. I believe that is on Laughlin once again. That's Luke Laughlin's 5th. So Thomas at the line with 18 seconds left. 60-50, your score. Huskies in the lead. As checking in now, if name we haven't had the chance to call today, Sam Wiebel, the junior forward, 6'2", is going to sub in for Luke Laughlin, who has fallen out of this contest.
Our scores table also has Mikey DeVito entering, but doesn't seem to be on the court. Just a quick shout out to him, senior, poured his heart and soul into this program. Maybe he'll get in, get a couple seconds on the court in front of the home fans, but
off the front of the rim is the second attempt from Charlie Thomas. Charlie Thomas' first one did fall. Shetman now going towards the net, finishes for 2, and an and 1 call. Foul right there by Thomas. And so a chance to shrink it down to 8. Is there any life left in this Barrington team? You know, 12 seconds, 8 points. Assuming this and 1 falls, it's going to be pretty hard to mount.
Yeah, I like that they're playing down to the wire, but it's just been tough sledding for them. 25 from Shetman, 17 from Gray, 42 combined out of the 52 total Bronco points.
Luxem double team going to be stolen by Gray. Gray puts up a last-second 3 off the front of the rim. Rebounded low by Weibel, and Weibel puts in 2 points. Timeout called with 0.7 seconds. A surprising timeout by Tucker. And the Orange Crush not happy about this one. They want to go home. I don't know. Why would you call that timeout there?
I have no idea. And if I was the referee right now, I would be pretty mad too. I mean, I'm trying to go home, cook up a dinner, watch some Olympic coverage, you know what I mean? Calling timeouts with 0.7 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I don't know.
Because there's no point to even put in the backups, just, I don't know, stand and smile out there in 0.7 seconds. Or they're actually going to put time on the clock here, 2.3 now. Keep in mind, it is a 7-point game, so 7 points, 2.3 seconds, I don't think that's even physically possible, but.
Pretty interesting. Maybe it's just like a power move. That's all I could think of. Maybe just like, I'm still fighting. He's telling his old rival, Wadlowski, I'm still fighting. I'm going to keep working till the buzzer, but the buzzer sounded a long time ago in a metaphoric way. I just don't see any reason for this timeout to be taken.
Once again, 2.3 seconds. The Huskies up 61-54 over rival Barrington. Timeout just taken by Coach Brian Tucker. Surprising timeout, didn't quite expect it. But maybe they can get something going here. Down 7, Narot ready to inbound.
Tight man, you're gonna see a press. 2 seconds left, still gonna fight.
Able to inbound it to Trotter, and the time's gonna tick off this one. They're going to call a foul. Oliver Gray reaches in with 0.5 seconds left to get a foul. He's going to step out of this one. It's his 5th foul today with 0.5 seconds. I guess the Huskies have a chance to extend the lead to 63-54. Again, with knowing the ball was inbounded, time ticking off the clock. Maybe not necessary, but nevertheless, going to hopefully give Tristan Trotter 2 more points here to cap off what has been a excellent night. 4 points already on the night. The second one falls.
Tucker not happy, and it's just been the storyline of the stretch. It's just frustration. And that frustration led to fouls for Oliver Gray. Eventually took him out of the game with half a second remaining.
Both fall for Trotter, and the final .5 gonna take off this one. That's it from us today. The Hersey Huskies win 63-54 over the Barrington Broncos. We'd like to thank you once again for joining us, everybody from Marquee Sports Network, friends and family. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. All right, once again, my name is Ryan Antonucci, joined here by Caden Tricosi and Quentin Bursch. Final thoughts from tonight's matchup?
I just think it was a pretty well-played game. Good game plan from the Huskies today. They exploited all of the flaws that the Broncos defense showed, and with this new conference realignment, this is going to be a rivalry for years to come. Huskies have owned it 4-0 in the past 2 years now, 2 7-point wins this year, but as I mentioned, years to come, this is going to be a game to watch twice a year.